WSI, West Bank, Bing Bang,
Spanish.
Z-Tech, Randall, yo, Beat, Easy, yo, Killer. Body 9, the resident, big up the president. Yeah, we shall not let me take me bring it everywhere. Protect myself, protect me head, me have no funny me. One in night, now to select me just press yeah. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, every day. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, easy. Me have the rogue up on me, them not know the bodies, them not rolling with no full up matic rocket in a pocket. East side never panic with so extra savage, girl a blow the cocky after crime, I can be store and pay the passy. Easy, yeah man, every day, yo, be anywhere, yeah man, head shell out.
Murder everything on sight, eh? Me no give a fuck who no like it. Cologne I kick well I say, yeah. Yo, skilly, murder the code forever, you see me. Take over life, them silly. Roll with some heartless killers. Monsters pull up in the theater. Only darkness, it and no pussy with my afraid of ring shot in the head top. Yo, skilly with them, nobody clutch back. Friend them run left, please can't touch back. Been a deal with threat, straight gunshot. Couple extra clip in the knapsack.
Body 9, the resident, big up the president. Yeah, we shall not let me take me bring it everywhere. Protect myself, protect me head, me have no funny me. One in night, now to select me just messy head. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, every day. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, easy. Me have the rogue up on me, them not know the bodies, them not rolling with no full up matic rocket in a pocket. East side never panic with so extra savage, girl a blow the cocky after crime, I can be store and pay the passy. Easy, yeah man, every day, yo, be anywhere, yeah man, head shell out.
When shutters involve a murder. Coffee to all them, mommy end up catch a tether. Number one rule, dog, never left you burner. Yo, skilly them, pussy they all in a WSI West Bank, we love the world. AR, the Mac, me call it Timmy Turner. Yeah, me call it Timmy Turner. New mission every week, I'm a laugh you make. Never make a step to me, I go regret. Monk the blood clot, money the ice cost for my neck. Them nobody not real life, them bad pon the net.
Yo, Killer. Body 9, the resident, big up the president. Yeah, we shall not let me take me bring it everywhere. Protect myself, protect me head, me have no funny me. One in night, now to select me just messy yeah. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, every day. Easy, anywhere, yeah man, easy. Me have the rogue up on me, them not know the bodies, them not rolling with no full up matic rocket in a pocket. East side never panic with so extra savage, girl a blow the cocky after crime, I can be store and pay the passy. Easy, yeah man, every day, yo, be anywhere, yeah man, head shell out, Bing Bang, yo, studio impact, yeah man, I miss a yo, body, yo, Frosty, top ranking, body with blood clad dear, Easy, yo, Trinidad, yo, President, yo, Randall, Z-Tech, yo, Swanee, yo, Meds Boss, yo, Killer, yo, Sunday.
So welcome back to my channel. Excuse me. So we just got done with a live stream with Robert and AR, and there was a bunch of people in the live chat who still had a lot of things to talk about. So we decided to go live here, and I should have a couple people joining me. I'm not putting anyone on the spot, but there's been a few invites sent out. And I do, oh, you need a new link? Hold on. I'm just going to put it in the chat, and it's an open panel for creators. Oh, hold on. But specifically, I would like to hear what Twiz has to say. And while we're waiting for people to join, I did pull a couple things up. So what I was thinking to get started until I get my guests up here and everyone gets talking is I have a beautiful tribute video that was made just a few days ago by Justice for MKXE, who's a wonderful tribute channel. Hey, Twiz. Hi, Twiz.
Yo.
How are you tonight?
I'm good.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
You're not tired?
I actually took a nap today, so I caught up. I don't know. I couldn't sleep last night, so I kind of just stayed up all night and then went to bed. So. How about you, AR? How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm hanging out with you guys, so it's a good night so far.
Heck yeah.
Twiz, it's good to see you. We haven't chatted in a while. I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm hanging in.
Well, sometimes
Missed
that's
you.
the best we can do. Have I been disappearing that much on everybody lately? I think I have. Huh?
I mean, it's understandable.
Well, I try to be around for you guys. You guys are some of my favorite people, so I try to be here for sure. But I think I do sleep a little too much nowadays.
Well, that's understandable.
Feels so good.
It does. It does feel good. They had me on morphine, and I finally just yesterday had to take myself off of it because I was in a whole nother world. And then I was like, maybe I'll just stay on morphine the rest of my life. This is awesome. But
I had Dilaudid when I got surgery on my arm. That stuff was fun.
Yeah, shoot, man, they make some mixtures, and it gets a little bit fun, that's for sure. And I feel kind of bad because, I mean, obviously people know and love Pete as well from Murder Male Mayhem, and he's back in the hospital right now, and they've deemed it a staph infection. So he just spent all that time recovering from the first situation, and now he's battling again. And so hopefully he gets back well. We talk daily for a couple hours on the phone every day, and it's, you know, I know it's rough. I know he's having a hard time too. So I definitely have everybody in my mind. I want everybody to be happy and healthy. So we all got to focus on doing that for sure.
Couldn't agree with you more. Your health is everything.
Everybody's health. We all got to be healthy, and that's something I'm learning in life. It's got to be a community of everybody focusing on the best things that we can and be positive about it. So
when do you go in for, if they decide to do surgery, when will you be going in to get that? Did you say a week from now?
oh, they've
You're scheduled
100%.
already.
Yeah, no, they've 100% said that they are adamant of doing it. Now it's down to me signing the paperwork and agreeing to step into the hospital and move forward with the procedure. They've already cut me open. I already have some electronical devices on the inside of my body helping things work, but I haven't made the decision on whether I'm going to move forward and have the kidney removed or if I'm going to pursue alternative opinions and methods. And Jen's been very patient. She's just kind of letting me work through my mental feelings of what I want to do and where I want to go, because it's literally going to put me out of commission for a while. They have stated that I may not walk again when it's said and done, because it could potentially paralyze the right side of my body because of issues that it would cause with the diabetes and things. So it's a big decision for me. Big.
You've got a good support system behind you, and well, we know you're fighting.
I do have a great support system, but it's even more than that. You guys are all family, and you know, of course, Jen is right here with me on a day-to-day basis, and her family as well. But all of you have become family to me, and I'm very appreciative of everybody that messages to check in on me and talk to me and share love with my wife and my dogs. And I mean, it's funny because Jen and I are in talks. We want to really expand our dog, other side of the channel that we have with the pitties go stripping. And we got equipment now that we want to take the dogs on the strip and have a bunch of videos and fun. And so there's a lot of good plans too. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm in a negative state of mind right now, because I'm really not. I'm taking everything with patience, and I'm just weighing it all out and gonna come to a decision, and we're gonna do everything moving forward very, very positively, and we're not going to allow negativity or talk negative. And even when the struggles are rough, we're going to swing back and we're going to get over them, and we're going to keep moving forward. So
yeah,
I feel like I'm only 47 years old. We got a lot of life to go. We got a lot of life to go.
that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah. So
well, I don't know what you guys wanted to talk about tonight, but I was thinking, since it came up in the last live stream, would you guys like to maybe, for once and for all, kind of debunk or do our best to debunk this whole Ted Bundy, Wallaway Park, Brian Kohlberger situation?
yeah, I mean, let's fire. It's your show. I'm sure Twiz is on board.
Okay. Well, I told Twiz I'd make a video about this, so it's kind of long overdue. But I don't know. We can do this however you want. But before I came on here, I was looking at different things to play for you or for us to talk about. And I went onto Rolo's channel because he said that he was finishing up editing a video. So I thought he had a new video out, and he doesn't. But the last video that he put out, of course, I can't play the whole thing because it's so controversial. AR, you know which one I'm talking about because you're in it and I'm in it. But he does a whole breakdown of the entire Wallaway Park Ted Bundy thing. So I was thinking we could play that, or we could talk about that, or I don't know. So that's what I was thinking to start conversation out. But it's really a joint live stream. You don't have to listen to me if you guys have other ideas. What do you think?
I'm down
Lead
to
the
watch it. I
way.
don't think I've seen it.
Lead the way, Kiki. Lead the way.
Let me read to you from the book of Rolo. I have this on this channel. Not subscribe. This channel is amazing. This is the tribute videos I was talking about.
Which channel are we talking about again?
This, this is Justice for MKXE. You have to write the number 4, or it doesn't come up. But she does these amazing tribute videos, and she just came out with this one 10 days ago, and it's incredible. I played it in my members live. I'm just gonna play it through like 3 minutes, but I just think it's kind of a nice way to start the stream. It makes us stop or reply for talking about it. Okay. Well, anyway, I wanted to start with that because it was up and you guys were asking. So please follow the handle. This video only has 21 views, and it had this morning it only had 10 views, but they're so beautiful and they're so well done. I just hope that you guys would take a minute to visit her channel. The handle's at the bottom. But now we're going to Rolo Mota. And I'll also put his channel handle in. And the video that we're watching is this one called Tyrants, Deceivers, and Liars. We're not going to watch the whole thing because we're not trying to start anything.
Yo, what up, everyone?
But
First of all, it's on the left.
just to set everybody, let me show my people. Just to set everybody up, what we're talking about here is there is a theory or a narrative going around YouTube right now, basically saying that BK was motivated by some sort of copycat crime to Ted Bundy. So right now we're just trying to debunk this theory. So and that's setting that up.
Did you say we were in this video for some reason, Swamp?
You haven't seen this video?
I haven't seen it. No, I don't watch a lot of YouTube.
Oh yeah, you're in this video. I'm in this video. He used a really nice filter. We both look lovely, but he's it's kind of like a back and forth between him and Daniel. So obviously, I don't want to.
I can understand you looking lovely. It would take more than a filter to get me looking on that side.
I know when Rolo said he was going to put me in a video, I'm like, Rolo, you better do a good job. He did. But yeah, we'll skip over that part.
That's speculation, my theory, my personal opinion, my findings. This is all for entertainment, and everybody mentioned here is all innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So, my bad that I been missing out for a minute, but just, you know. So I'm going to start off with this
location where Ted Bundy started his serial killing. Put icing on the cake. This.
All right, we'll start.
I'm getting following rules, so keeps me busy. So I'm gonna start off with this video by debunking his little false claims by different creators.
I mean, it's not a coincidence this hasn't happened again in the area since Brian Koberger got there or was been arrested. You know, this type of thing didn't happen before Brian Koberger got there. It just happened in the short period of time while he was in town.
Along with the thousands of other kids that just showed up.
This dude, and I had other choice words for him, but this dude is literally saying his alibi for the night that he was out and about or whatever. He says at some point he went to go visit the location where Ted Bundy started his serial killing spree. Yeah.
What? Hey, what do you think I am, a pendejo?
So this guy claims that this is where Ted Bundy started his killing spree, huh? Well, let's check this out. See what we find right here. This is all like this little history, you know. So according to this, there was some bodies found at Taylor Mountain, which is not near Wawa White Park. But we'll double check, you know, because the last thing we want to do right here is, you know, make false accusations and claims, you know, so without receipts. So yeah, according to this, there was a few bodies found, parts of different victims. But see, the thing is, this park on Taylor Mountain is almost 5 hours, about 5 hours away from Wawa White Park, which is 30-40 minutes from Pullman. So it's almost 6 hours from Pullman. So I mean, it's kind of outrageous for someone to be claiming, you know, that, you know, those claims, you know, that he started his killing spree right there at that park, which is 6 hours, fucking 5 hours from right there, you know. But another thing is, there's an official list of victims, unofficial, and then there's the ones that were added after confessions and
method of murder does not say stabbing.
The first one was a little girl, the 8-year-old, when Ted was 15, something like that. Yeah, she lived a few blocks from him. I guess she used to follow him around with a paper boy or something. I believe they never found her or something. But she didn't come into the list till, I guess, after his confession. The official, I guess, the old list was, it wasn't even, she didn't even pass away. She was attacked, and some things were done to her, and she woke up in a coma, not even remembering what happened to her, but she did some pretty nasty things to her. So here's another one. I guess these are the ones that their pieces of the body were found right there at Taylor Mountain. There is like 2 of them that were, I guess, disappeared from, one from Pullman and one from Coeur d'Alene, I believe. but those two were, I guess, found to be victims of some other serial killer, which is, there was like two more in the 70s. There was like actually like anywhere from 3 to 5 different ones, serial killers in the 70s, right there in that area. But I believe the one Daniel was saying, I mean, I told him already, he even agrees, but he says one thing in the chat, and he says another thing in his videos, you know. He said, oh, I thought it was her. Yeah, you're right. But then when it comes on his videos, he's, you know, he keeps pushing that little narrative. Well, I mean, that's whatever. You know, that's why I'm calling it out, you know, because I saw that, you know, so I don't like that. So if you're going to be throwing out claims out there, at least, you know, show your receipts. Right? I mean, everything I say, you know, like I show, you know, I'm pointing out what I see or what I think from footages and everything, you know. Like, might seem outrageous to non-believers or people with like dumb little infant minds, you know, but everybody, you know, everybody's mind is its own world. So there was some other victims that were found somewhere else at Sammamish Park, Lake Sammamish, other than Tater Mountain, which is somewhere around there, but that one's even a little more farther than Tater Mountain.
If you were to strip that DNA, let's say that DNA gets removed out of this case, and I'm not saying it's going to, because it most likely.
AR, should we keep going? Do you want to see yourself on this?
It don't bother me. I mean, if go ahead.
The other thing he does on here is it's really interesting. I learned a lot from this video. In fact, I was quoting this video for a long time because this is how I learned about Chris McDonough. Like, I never knew about that controversy, but that segment's like 20 minutes long. I'll just play this. No.
But if somehow that gets removed out of this case, how else do you put him in the house outside of that sheath? Like, what other evidence do you feel there is that he was actually in
the filter makes a difference.
Not out about at night, not turning off phones. So I get what you're saying about that. But I'm saying actually physically in the home, in between those rooms, of 7 minutes worth of carnage, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, first, fortunately, he forgot the knife sheath, because I think it would be very difficult to try this person without it. And I do think that they would have discovered that this was the guy, you know, sooner or later. He was being reported on multiple times at WSU. There was some, like I said, there was multiple reports of his behaviors that were going on there. I'm sure somebody would have at one point said, hey, why don't you look at this guy? He's been acting kind of crazy. He's fighting teachers, harassing women, yada, yada, yada. And you know, they would have discovered that he drives a white Elantra, and probably would have looked at his phone records and seen that his phone was off during the commission of the crime, which is a huge red flag. They see that he's out and about during that time on an icy cold night without his phone. That's concerning. So now, would they have enough to try him for it? I don't know. I don't know if they would have had enough to have picked him up and arrested him. You know, that's one thing that I'm glad we don't have to worry about. I, for one, don't think that the DNA is going to get thrown out either. I know a lot of people think that that's a possibility. I think it's an impossibility at this point.
The fuck is he talking about?
That's what I
Wouldn't
would
there be good
too.
footage of him driving around Linda Lane at 9 a.m. the next day? I would assume there should be some kind of footage. I don't know if he went in front of the Linda Lane. It just says that he was in the area. So I don't know if he went the same way, like if he parked right directly in front of the house. I mean, you can see that house from the band field. So he could have easily been parked out there trying to scope out like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I committed a quadruple homicide and there's no cops here.
Damn. How many followers is this guy deceiving? That's crazy.
And Taylor says that there's no videos of him traveling this direction. Mundy's shot is located right here. Right. So this is the area in which they're referring to that there is no camera cameras that capture the white car traveling south.
Would I be correct in believing that I should be able to have a videotape from a place called Monday's Machine?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's Monday's Machine?
I don't know where Monday's Machine is, ma'am. It does not sound familiar to me.
How many video surveillance attempts did you make to get video from businesses or homes on all of those routes?
I do not recall, but it continued for some time, attempting to find additional video footage.
What did you find?
Nothing to my recollection.
Not one video depicting.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
To my memory, no.
What? No llores, vato. Don't cry.
Message.
There were cameras that were missing, or camera footage. And then at the end, she kind of says that she even knows where they're at. She just doesn't want to go find them.
Based on your review of that, am I correct in believing that the Red Star surveillance video was collected and given to Moscow Police Department?
It reads that way, yes, ma'am.
Where is it?
I do not know.
Who do I ask where it is?
That would be through the evidence custodian
Yes.
and MPD. That'd be my best direction for you.
So I need to go to the evidence custodian and ask him to bring all of the videos out so I can watch them all to see if that one exists.
Yes, ma'am.
What? Pinche Indian giver. Hey, you promised, eh? Hey, you're an Indian giver.
Okay, we're stopping here. No more. Oh, hold on, let me stop sharing the screen. Okay. And it's not that I disagree with what you have to say, Rolo. It's that I don't condone violence. We'll just leave it there.
Swamp is a sweetie. There's no violence allowed.
How do you think you got those rights that you're so worried about? Violence.
Well, this is literally like 3 people holding someone down while he's shanked. So it's not like,
I'm just messing with you.
And
oh,
yeah.
you're talking about my life. Never mind. Never mind.
Have you ever had a conversation with Rolo?
Yes.
Okay, I was just gonna say you might.
Yeah.
He knows a little. He knows a little something about it too.
Yeah, Rolo and I, we understand each other pretty well.
Yeah, I'm glad I have you guys in my crew. So anyway, what did you guys think? I thought Rolo, not only does he kind of do the basic Googling and seeing that these 2 crimes aren't really related, but he actually got more information than anyone else I've seen. Whereas these crimes actually, were like 6 hours away. Like a lot of these ones that they were pinning on them, and they didn't match the MO of Bundy either. So I don't know. Any thoughts?
There's no connection between, if this crime is tied to Brian Koberger in some way, it's not a connection to Bundy. There's no resemblance to it whatsoever. I don't believe that Koberger would follow someone like Bundy. I mean, obviously in criminal justice and that you would know of Bundy, but I don't believe that's who he would study. I mean, a lot of people at first said that he was going to go after and want to be like Rader because he was taught by the same professor and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's all assumptions. There's no credibility between, that thought process and what's actually real and true.
Rader was a different type of criminal too. I mean, it's not even psychological, like a comparison from what I've been told and what I've read in, BK's own writing. He doesn't have the same personality. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? I mean, if somebody wanted to connect crimes to each other that could resemble each other, why is nobody really looking at the Oregon crime where the husband and wife were stabbed? She luckily survived. He lost his life, and there was a survivor in that home. very vicious attack, and they still don't know who committed that crime. Why is nobody looking at that one saying that these are very, very similar with the same style of attack, even similar circumstances of leaving a witness, but nobody will look at that and say that seems like a possible, type connection. Who committed that crime?
There's
What's the
a few
evidence
that have
now?
talked about that, but I think they say that Brian did Oregon too.
No, Brian didn't do it.
I know, that's just what they say.
Yeah, I mean, people want to link that together because they are similar. And then they want to say, oh, look, it wouldn't be his first time. He's done this before. And that's why they were trying to also link him to the crime up in Pennsylvania with that woman. That would be a similar, hate towards women, violent crime, blah, blah, blah. But they couldn't link that one either. So let's build narratives. Let's talk out rumors. And, to me, it's like, that's why this is so hard to look at Brian Koberger and say, it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't. I mean, but, people say Ted Bundy was able to accomplish the same type of crimes. But, I always come back to two, and maybe you two could answer this pretty well for me. What time frame were the Bundy crimes committed in? The 70s, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the 70s? Yeah. How was technology back then?
Pretty non-existent compared to what we have today.
So, and I'm kind of wondering, how would like security of homes be back then, or sorority houses or places like that? How would security be?
Well, I know the sorority house that he broke into, the only locked doors they say were the doors that he passed by the girls that were like scared in his kids.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of thinking too, though. I mean, like with the narrative of this Idaho 4 crime that they're trying to say he surveyed, for a long time, and even now people are still saying he stalked the home. And I mean, think of today's society, and man, thankfully I got out of the criminal idea of doing things, because the cameras and the technology today, man, I'd be afraid to think that I could not be seen doing something. I mean, I've been kind of watching that Robert Tellez crime right here locally in Vegas, of the politician that murdered a journalist because journalists put him out for having an affair and all this stuff. They literally have this person walking to the crime scene. They have pictures of his car a street over, driving around. There's technology out there that just seems like it could catch you with anything and everything. And if you're telling me there's no pictures of Brian Koberger walking into the King Road home to commit this crime, that just tells me Brian Koberger didn't commit this crime, because I just don't see how you get into this home without being actually on camera and seen as who you are, license plate, something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dazed and confused. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there are reports of the families seeing the girls get dropped off. Now, maybe that's at the corner, but how they word it sounds like they watch them get out and walk inside. And then there's the camera that sees the 3-point turn. So there's got to be a different camera somewhere.
Well, I'll
be shocked if the front of that house isn't on camera.
Yeah, I think they've said that. Like, didn't they say they walked in the front door? Like, I thought it was Olivia. I thought it was the Kaylee's sister that said she saw the video of them entering the home at 1:56 a.m.
Yep.
Maybe I'm mistaken on that. But then, I mean, haven't we also heard rumors of they were walking the dog just shortly after that? They took the dog out to the bathroom, and
yep.
I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, with all the narratives, I'm so confused on what could be real and what's not. Even through the documentation through law enforcement, I'm confused on the what's BS and what's real, what's relevant, what's not. What I don't know. It baffles me a little bit.
I agree.
Jump in here.
Especially when the PCA says that the suspect vehicle car was caught immediately after the crime, but we know the phone was not able to be traced through its metadata or through its radio signal. So where was the phone immediately caught after the scene? If the phone's not traceable, it had to have been on a camera. And we know it wasn't caught on a camera south of the crime scene when it was leaving, because like you were pointing out, AR, they kind of were saying that in court. So where's this immediate camera? Are they referencing Linda Lane and the 3 passes? Are they referencing another camera? Are they referencing the Ring doorbell? Are they referencing, you know, the 1112 camera? I don't know.
I think they're actually referencing a camera up back off Walenta Drive. Back behind the house. In those richer houses up there that, I mean, they're a little bit bigger. They have a little bit of money up there on the side of that hill. I was in discussion with somebody. I'm trying to remember the conversation altogether, but they're from there. When we were up visiting and I was having coffee, I sat down with somebody that lived up in that area back behind there, and they had heard that law enforcement got a camera from up there. And I was trying to get information on whether that covered the backyard of the crime scene or what that covered. And they said that they didn't know fully and they didn't want to give me false information, but they felt as though it at least covered that back parking lot. So I kind of jokingly said, well, they must have got the car then, right? I mean, obviously everybody's saying they parked back there, and they came out and said that's not where the car was parked. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know. Now you really all are baffling me. I mean, none of you make sense anymore, but okay.
Who said the car wasn't back there?
So one of the neighbors that lives up behind the house, there's a line of houses up there behind Walenta Drive. They confiscated a camera up there, not this individual's. This person lived next door to those people, and I was obviously trying to be like shenanigan to get some information, like, hey, would that camera have been able to see the backyard? Because someone had told me that there was a camera that could see the backyard itself, and that's how they knew they took the dogs to the bathroom or the dog to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, wow. So it would have had to have definitely caught the car parked back there then for sure, right? Because that's the narrative that's being said, is that's where he entered the house and that's where he parked. And they said that's not the information that they've been told, that the car that was involved in this crime was not parked behind the house. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, then I don't know. I even told the person, I said, I don't know what narrative to believe then, because none of it makes sense. Everything's discrediting what somebody else says. So I have no idea. But
hey,
that's what.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Wants the link.
I didn't realize you were. I just typed it in, and I wanted to just bring up what Angel D is saying, because this made me think of Heather's video from the other day. So who and what said the car attempted park unsuccessfully outside of 1122, and that's in the PCA, right? But I'm wondering, after seeing Heather's video, are they saying that because they saw the tire marks there and they assumed it was a 3-point turn? Hi, Robert.
Hello.
That was
It's a good question.
I get down to the jail. My cousin was already gone.
Oh gosh.
He's not gone back in the jail, did he?
No.
Right?
I asked a few people around the jail. I'm like, have you seen a little short dude, long, scraggly goatee, bald with glasses? Yeah, Yeah, he started walking that way. I drove up and down freaking Broadway and all the side streets around the jail for like the last 20 minutes. Couldn't find the little. Couldn't find the little. Yeah, mf'er. So I called my mom, and she goes, "Well, he has your number, right?" I'm like, "Yes, mom." She goes, "Well, then just go home. He'll call you." I'm not getting out at 2 o'clock in the morning to go pick his butt up.
Hopefully, he gives you gas money.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Twizzlestick? How do you feel about the narrative with the Bundy situation compared to whoever committed this crime, whether be the wannabe Koberger narrative or somebody else? Do you think it could compare to somebody emulating a Bundy situation?
No. There's nothing about that crime that fits Bundy. Bundy went after blondes. I mean, brunettes. She's blonde. Bundy bludgeons and strangles. She's stabbed.
Right.
Nothing fits. The timeline doesn't even fit for like when he's on record killing people.
Timeline don't fit at all.
I wanted to bring up one other quick thing when we're talking about Wawaway Park, because I actually started a comment earlier, and Stevie B just brought this up, but hold on, let me get to the comment. So DB brought this up, and I just want to say, like, since we're having the conversation and we want to know more, we're not trying to, be know-it-all or anything. He's saying that this is the second time this article has been cited, and it's by the page. There were certain similarities between the case and others that were brought us to Bundy, and we later placed him in the area about that time. So I will reference that article, and we appreciate you telling us about it. And, maybe there's something in there that we haven't heard yet. So thank you.
Well, one of the reasons why they say that is because there's a cream bug that was seen driving around Pullman that weekend. But you know what I really can't find, and I've searched for a while, is to find out when Bundy got that bug. Nothing documents it.
It's weird. You would figure that out.
Like, I want to know the year that Bundy got that bug. But there's bugs all over the place, especially back then. So,
I think one of the biggest things that just hits me when people want to compare Koberger to Bundy and this and that, the difference in personalities is so great that it just makes the reasoning behind the crime so different, and the way that they've acted after the crime so different. Like, I'm picturing that Rollins character that, I think he was Florida, big guy that attacked some females and sororities and stuff, and then he's in court singing, and people literally thought like he was a good looking man. Nobody speaks that way about Brian because his character is so different. I just don't see him emulating someone like a Bundy or like a Rollins, or he's more of a, he would be into a unique personality of just different. And I don't know. It just seems like an awkward comparison.
One of the interesting things with like the BTK comparison was because people were saying that he was spying on them. Well, like, now that narrative has gone away.
Right. Well, and two, I had somebody actually discussing the BTK situation because of how Raider played games so much with law enforcement. I'm like, well, what's that have to do with anything? And that's when they started talking about, like the Reddit posts and stuff like that. And I came back and I said, do you truly believe that Brian Koberger was, engaging himself into all of that when, I mean, he struggles with communication and socialism, yet he's going to be all over the social networking platform, creating a digital footprint right to himself, and then to be dumb enough to even tell on himself, saying, hey, you're going to find the killer in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. I mean, that just seems that's so federal agent behind the scenes trying to get someone to tell on themselves compared to him actually, playing games online. I just don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, well, neither do I, brother. I mean, I don't see it either. But I mean, it's just, I mean, everything about this case is just so weird. Really is.
Well, I kind of wonder your guys' opinion too. I've been thinking about this the last few days, and I mean, it's just been going through my mind a little bit. He gets pulled over twice in Indiana, literally within a couple of minutes of each other. If you are a quadruple homicide person, I mean, you would always be alert to the fact that they would potentially be looking for you, especially if you know you left the sheath. If you know you left evidence at the crime scene, and you act as if no big deal, you're not going to arrest me. I'm not going to jail anyway. You may just give me a ticket. I mean, to me, coming from my background, the minute I see those cop lights go on, I look at whoever's in the car and say, today's your day to go on one of the best rides you've ever been on, because I'm not pulling over. I potentially have a death penalty case waiting for me. I'm going to live out as much of this as I can. But he just acted nonchalant, like it was no big deal. Yeah, here's my ID. No big deal. I don't know.
The only weird part about that stop, brother, was when they asked him where he was going, and he goes, "Oh, we're going to get Thai food." And then his father had to correct him. "Oh, well, we're coming from Washington State University, and we're going to Pennsylvania." I mean, that I'm trying to figure out exactly why he told the cops we're going to get Thai food.
Okay, so maybe he's a little awkward, and like I said, he's a little bit just not,
Who tells the police where they're going?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be more worried if he told him he was going to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I hate to say it, when a cop asks me, "Hey, where are you coming from? Over there?" Well, where's over there? Well, it's over there. Well, why won't you tell me? Yeah, why won't you tell me? Yeah,
where are you
why
going?
Aren't you tell
Forward?
Tell me where over there is. I did. It's over there. And they're like, no, can you give me an address? Over there. Just spell it out and you know where I'm coming from. Over there. And police get pissed off at me because then they're like, well, where are you going? Well, I'm right here right now, so I don't know. I've even looked at cops when they asked me, where are you going? I said, probably jail. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. With my history, I'm probably going to jail. Well, have you been drinking? Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. And that's why when someone like Koberger, they ask him, where are you going? I wouldn't expect him to give a full detailed summary of, well, I'm coming from Pullman, Washington, where you just shot my friend Kopaka. And now I'm driving on the highway through this to get to Pennsylvania, where I'm going to baggage things up in my underwear at my parents' house. I mean,
and throw everything in my neighbor's garbage can with gloves on. You ain't getting my DNA, copper.
Yeah, I'm going to look out my window every day and see all the FBI agents just flooding the neighborhood. But I'm going to think nothing's up. Don't worry. I'll just clean my car in front of everybody. Don't worry. I mean, come on. None of this makes sense, man. None of it.
That's from you.
I'm sorry, I'm being a little sarcastic, but that's really legitimately. Sometimes you got to be that way about this case.
Oh yeah, I know.
I wish I could be sarcastic.
Oh,
Teach me your ways, AR.
I don't have ways. I'm gonna mute for 1 second. My wife just walked in the door, so you guys continue. I'll be back.
Let Jen know we said hi too.
Yeah.
Will do.
I mean, what I think about when I think about those traffic stops is I just ponder, when did the FBI get involved? Were they involved at that time? So I kind of think they were trailing BK at that time, simply because I've seen some of the, at least I know when they got to Pennsylvania, they had already been trailing him, because we've seen.
Well, I mean, it's clearly obvious that he was being tracked, because they picked up his car on a tag reader in Colorado.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, because it Twiz, am I correct that it states in the PCA that his car was picked up on a tag reader in Loma, Colorado?
Yep. And I've always remembered when he was arrested, like the first couple days after he was arrested, the FBI were saying that they were following him. They had eyes on him in Pullman. Then they lost him and they had no idea where he was until they got him on that plate reader.
So, Twiz, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Okay, that if the FBI was tracking him and they had eyes on him in Pullman, I'm surprised that the FBI didn't step in and make this a federal case.
Well, I think they were trying to, like, they were following him for a reason. They just either didn't have any evidence that he was involved or something.
Well, see, just like I was watching this thing on DNA the other day, Twiz, and they had who was Gabrielle Vargas when she was testifying at one of those hearings.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabrielle Vargas was talking about that the forensic genealogist, or the people that does the IgG and the DNA, can still have access to the person's file that has been opted out of the police manhunt. And and what I think is weird is one of the statements that Chief Fry made was, we're going by the bounds of we're within the bounds of the law now. So did they go outside the bounds of the law to get the DNA and the IgG? I mean, it makes you wonder.
I gotta wonder about a lot on this case.
I mean, when I think about the IgG, the only thing I could rationalize with what you just said, Robert, and I'm certainly not saying this is exactly what he meant, but the only thing I can rationalize is, like, the IgG itself isn't a direct comparison, and it's not meant to be used to actually match someone to crime. It's kind of like a lie detector test. So it wouldn't be within the bounds of the law to use IgG to arrest him or get a search warrant for him or get an arrest warrant, because IgG is just like a lie detector test. It's not admissible in court. So maybe that's what they meant, is we were just waiting for that that direct match from the trash, say within the bounds of the law. But I'm just speculating. I don't know.
But why use the buccal swab? Why did they use the buccal swab after they arrested him?
Well, I knew that was another direct. So that would be 3 matches, 1 IgG and 2 direct matches. Or I guess the father's match wouldn't be direct, but it's a direct, like, match to a family member. So they're taking the actual DNA from that person and comparing it to the actual sample from the knife sheath. Whereas the IgG, they're just taking, they found like 19 markers, they matched them to, and they ran them through another profile. Then they built like a family tree. And even though it's very accurate, it's not admissible in court. It's about as accurate as like a lie detector test. And probably
Is that why that one officer there in Pullman got the search warrant for his apartment and his office on WSU, and said that she was doing it not using the IgG because that the IgG and the DNA could possibly be thrown out?
It blows my mind. It's like the most rhetorical paragraph I've ever read, because it's saying to use it if the DNA is non-exculpatory, but don't use it if it is exculpatory. It's like says both sides of the coin in that one sentence. I don't know. I mean,
do we even know if they found anything in his apartment or his office? Because last thing I heard, they didn't find anything in his office. So did they find anything in his apartment? That question is.
I mean, I don't know. They have what's listed in the warrants or whatever. Did they find anything of the victims? I don't think so, because Anna said that they didn't, but.
Yeah, I heard you were feverishly typing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's no link, because because we've heard for like almost 2 years from the I call them the lamestream media that there was 12 pings around their house. Oh, he was stalking. Oh, he was this. Oh, he was that. But then we hear from Bill Thompson and the judge themselves, there was no proof of him stalking them. So without proof of stalking, there's no motive. With no motive, there should be no arrest warrant. No arrest warrant, there should be no IgG.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really need a motive, but they definitely need better evidence than what they used.
Yeah, because it's all circumstantial. But can they truly get a conviction with circumstantial evidence?
It's been done before. It all depends on what Anne can bring out,
Yeah.
Which I think it'll be enough. But if they didn't have any corroborating evidence, especially for like his alibi and stuff, he might be in trouble.
I mean, what's so weird though is Ann Taylor's statement that they were building his alibi around the state's data. That's the only weird part to me. I mean, and I understand that he stated he was on a late night drive and he was going to Wawai Park to do some stargazing. But why did Ann Taylor say, oh well, his alibi is based around the state's evidence? Once we see the state's evidence, then we can give you our alibi.
Yeah, I saw something on Lana's channel, Truth and Transparency, last week, where she had a document where Anne was asking for the cast data in like February of 2023. So she's been asking for that stuff the entire time.
Yeah, I think the cast report is pretty much well just a piece of paper. I mean, just like Cyree stated in that one hearing, without the AT&T records, without the cell tower data, the cast report is just a piece of paper. And I don't understand why Mowry would even do the cast report without having all that data.
Well, he didn't really know what he was doing. He just knows how to put the CDR records into the program, and it pops out with the maps of where the cell towers are that you connect to. And then from that, they like, well, we know he was at 1122 King Road. Like, we know it was him. We know it was there. He connects to these towers, which covers these areas. So we have to make the map fit his way home.
Sounds like it's there's just a witch hunt.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
I mean, honestly, Twiz, it sounds like the U of I just wants its sacrificial lamb, just to appease everybody that was involved in the case. You know, yeah, the Gonzaleses, the Mogans, the Chapins, the Kernodles. It just, and I'm not victim blaming at all. And I would never do that, Twiz, but it just feels like that Brian is their sacrificial lamb because they're trying to the college is trying to hide something, and they don't want the real killers being brought to light because it would tarnish their college even more.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what are your thoughts, Twiz?
I don't know. I think at least at some point in time they really thought he could have done it, just based on like a similar car and the cell phone towers. But they definitely should have done some more investigating.
I mean, were you in the courtroom that day when Jennings made the statement? Well, we do have other suspects we can look at or investigate or something like that.
The hearing with Cy.
Yeah,
I was there.
I mean, it kind of blew my mind when Jennings says, "Well, we do kind of have some other suspects we could investigate or look into." Well, what suspects is she talking about?
Who knows? That is something we probably won't know, at least for a while.
I mean, and even with the 3 unknown male DNAs, I mean, we'll probably never know who those three male DNAs were.
They might try though, because in Bicca Barlow's filing or whatever, they talk about it.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, and she talks about like how it's very important in a case like this, especially when other DNA was found.
Oh, what's your thoughts, Kiki? You're muted. You're muted.
And the unredacted PCA from Pennsylvania, they were talking, or it might have been, I can't remember which document it was, but it was either the unredacted PCA or the unredacted search warrant. Whichever one I was looking at, they cited a case when they were talking about the unknown DNAs. They cited a case from El Dorado, California. And basically it was saying that case had their IgG or their DNA thrown out because they were requesting the IgG workup. They wanted to know how they got to it. And there was something about the unknown DNAs in that case. And they ended up being, in this case law that they cited, they ended up being law enforcement DNA. And it wasn't that law enforcement was involved. It was, they don't run though, or they run them through CODIS. It's unknown DNA or something along those lines. And I don't know how it technically works, but I'm just citing what I've seen. Was this case out of El Dorado was cited where their IgG information was.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. It could be some of the kids that showed up that morning. I mean, your skin cells fall off all the time. So they just have to find a few of your skin cells. It doesn't even have to be somebody. Somebody could have picked something up on their way there. Could have been some stranger that's never even been in the house. Like, they can get DNA from lots of places. I've heard of a study that they did with like, you know, like you order underwear or socks or something. There's DNA from like the factories in China in your house now.
Oh wow.
When we were talking about the IGG, Gia, my podcasting partner, my sister-in-law, she brought up a case out of California where this homeless man actually was hospitalized. He was really drunk and disorderly in a store. He ended up needing medical attention. And when the EMTs showed up, they put the oxygen meter on his finger. And they then brought him to the hospital and he was admitted. So he actually stayed there overnight. Well, when he got out of the hospital, he was later charged with murder because they found his DNA underneath the fingernails of this murder victim. But what had happened, his lawyer figured it out while he was in jail. Like he didn't even realize it. But while he was in jail, his lawyer's like, wait a second, my client was actually in the hospital on that date. How is this possible? He murdered someone. So come to find out, when they went to this convenience store where he had lost consciousness and checked his oxygen levels, they took the oximeter off. And then when they went, the EMTs then went to this homicide and they had to check the oxygen on the body. So then his DNA was transferred underneath the fingernails of this murder victim, and he was charged with the crime and completely exonerated. But had it not been for this astute lawyer just being like, my client was in the hospital during this crime, he would be an innocent man charged with these murders sitting in jail. It's very scary.
Over DNA.
Touch DNA.
Yeah, it's wild. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if that DNA is his, you can't even place him in the house with it.
It's true.
Rodney sent me something in Discord just a couple of seconds ago.
Who's Rodney? Oh, Rondi, right?
No, Rodney, one of my mods.
Oh.
He's the dude that is from Australia. He goes by Roddy now, Rody.
Is it something you wanted to share, Robert?
Well, let me see if I can.
Okay. Twiz, I'm making a video. I don't know if LA told you, but I played a soundbite from you in the members only live stream earlier. And I made it was so good. And I made a video out of it, and you're like the grand finale at the end of the video. So it was gonna drop tonight, but now I'm on my second live stream, so it's probably gonna drop tomorrow. I'll tag you.
Okay. Trying to find it in my files now.
I was just saying, so I started a couple of these comments while you're looking for them. I wanted to bring them up. And the first one that I thought was interesting. Well, first off, WSU Mom Kid says we would likely wouldn't know if it's federal. And I guess that is the $1 million question. How quickly do those charges come down? But I would think after this long, we'd know. But I don't.
Well, we know there was a grand jury, so who knows what that's about.
Yeah, true. Hey, Twiz, I'll send it to your Discord, and you could yeah, you can probably send it to Kiki or something.
Yeah, or whatever. Isn't there part of those? Isn't there part of those videos missing? I'm wondering what videos we're referencing. I knew we started that, but I can't remember now. Certainly an uncommon. What were you saying, Robert?
I just sent him the screenshot of it.
Oh, okay. I also like this comment by Rolo because he just keeps bringing me back to Linda Lane. And a white truck pulled up in the driveway and left at 2:46. not pressing the gas pedal much to Taylor Apartments. It's caught at the very beginning of Rosie's body cam, and on the left zoom in on slow mode. So I'll definitely check that out. There's a couple things. Is that the white Jeep everyone is talking about?
No, he said white truck.
Okay. I don't know. Sometimes people call Jeeps trucks. I wasn't sure.
Now, what I did see today when I was driving to get my cousin, now I saw it was a Jeep, but what was weird was it had a truck extension on the back of it.
Yeah, I love those Jeeps. They're really cute. But I don't think they're gonna drive like a Jeep. Like if anyone's ever driven like a Wrangler or CJ, they're like the best cars in the snow ever. But I can't see a wider bed is gonna drive like a Jeep.
True.
If we're talking about things off subject, I wanted to tell you guys, I was like dying to tell somebody. I've been watching the funniest thing on Netflix. I want to make a Netflix recommendation. And if anyone has a Netflix recommendation, I'll take it because I watch Netflix on the weekend. But I never watch Kill Tony because I think it is like the meanest show. I don't like it at all. I like the Brady roast, but I don't watch that show. Whatever gets turned on, I leave the room. But the new season is so hilarious. I just am telling you, you guys, you have to check it out. It's so funny. They have they have these impersonators on there. You guys know what I'm talking about? Kill Tony. You guys ever watch that show?
I've watched it a couple times.
You have to watch the new season. It's so good. But if anyone's got Netflix recommendations, please drop them in the chat. I'm looking for new stuff this weekend. Since we're going off subject, that's all.
My friend loved that show.
Everybody loves that show but me. I just can't take I feel I'm so cringy when they attack people. I'm just not great with roasts. They make me uncomfortable for the people. You guys are so talkative today. Well, what I was thinking is Rolo did have part of that video left that was appropriate before I turned it on. I was thinking, yeah. I forgot that there's an entire explanation about Chris McDonough on it, and I've been referencing it for so long. I probably should play it because it'd be fun. What do you guys say? You want to watch the rest of Rolo's video? I'm not going to play the end because we're not going to attack the other creators. But
Chris McDonough.
Yeah.
This is pretty good.
I hope he shows up on Thursday too.
Twiz, are you going to do something? Are you going to do any live coverage, try and do a curbside or anything like that?
I probably won't.
Well, it'd be cool if you could do some live coverage out front of the courthouse.
I think Rory's going to.
In fact, just a few miles away in Pullman, Washington, is Washington State University, another college.
Help them, and they're doing the right
thing. Oh my
thing.
God, I didn't know that.
And they do need to take their time because you don't want to jump to conclusions or screw up the evidence.
What didn't you know, Twiz?
I was just kidding.
Or do something you shouldn't do. So working as a team helps bring that together, and it helps it become a better and stronger case.
This is not a Ted Bundy coming into town.
Thank you, Heather.
You know, we always think of the sorority, and by the way, the guy that did the bite marks on that is a guy named Skip Sperber.
Message.
Said the murderer of our daughter, and I said, "Who was it? Who is it?" And they said, "We've arrested your son."
He done it. I mean, because at that point, because when a police officer tells you that someone did something, you think that they did it. I mean, we had trust in police up until this point.
I have to stop right here. Rolo, I'm going to have a copyright issue with this. I can't play this. like that score in the background is already going to ding me. I've got to stop. Because it's not that I can't take a little bit of it, but if I play this whole thing, they're not even going to let me cut it out and monetize the videos.
No.
But I will explain what happened. It's a really difficult thing to watch. And I don't condemn people. I know people can change and people make mistakes, but this was pretty horrible. The little boy, and his friends, they basically confessed this murder they didn't do. And it was the guilt that they felt. It was placed on them. He felt so bad. His sister died, and he just assumed he had done it by the way the police explained it to him. And he ended up confessing. And I think he was in jail for like 5 years. But what ended up happening was somebody got involved and they found a transient who actually, they found blood, DNA evidence from his sister on this transient's clothes, but nobody had ever pursued the person. And they ended up letting all the kids out of jail. And the way we tie this in is like when we talk about things like Brady Giglio. So it's not just about like the credibility of the officer testifying in court. It's the credibility of the chain of command when it comes to evidence. So the example that we could use that we could all understand is, say, Chris McDonough might have questionable issues as a police officer. Maybe he wouldn't be able to testify in court due to this thing on his record. Well, as example, Chris McDonough, let me stop my camera, it's glitching out. He was a podcaster at the time in the Idaho 4, and he ended up going to the house that morning and he found a glove. Okay, so then he pointed it out to the police and the police entered it in as evidence. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because when it comes to Brady Giglio, this is 12 Gauge is the one who taught me about Brady Giglio. So if I make a mistake, I'm kind of new to the subject. But let's just say Chris McDonough ended up getting calling up if he was a police officer, they'd be like, okay, well, you have this past. And because of his issues in the past, that evidence could be inadmissible because it's not just the person who found it, it's the whole chain of custody where that glove was in place. I hope I'm explaining this well. But so it's a good point that Rolo's bringing up when it's not just about police corruption, it's about when you have this in a police force. This is why people get put on like desk duty or like traffic duty. It's because if they get involved in a crime or collecting evidence, they probably couldn't sit on the stand and talk about it. Any thoughts, guys?
Well, when you say sit on the stand and talk about it, well, doesn't that mean Brett Payne should be excluded? Because I mean, clearly he said in that one hearing, I give my paperwork to people smarter than me.
But he's the one that signed it. He might be on that list after this case. I wouldn't be surprised.
What, the Brady Giglio?
Yeah. Or some other list. I don't know. I honestly think they should go to prison for shit like this. We pay you to protect our rights, not freaking destroy them.
I mean, Twiz, what did you think about the doc from Ann Taylor stating that if Brian's found not guilty, they're going to burn the people of Lake Moscow is going to burn the courthouse down. They're going to start a lynch mob with good old boy justice. They're going to riot, and Brian's not going to survive. And then they're going to turn around and let the families deal with Brian. That sounds like a mob mentality, Twiz. It really does.
For sure.
But the people of Ada, they had a completely different thoughts. Well, I guess he wasn't guilty. It's not a big deal. We're just going to live our lives. And this was the people of Boise. But
I have a feeling that if everything that was said is true, that they're going to do that in Moscow, even if the trial is in Ada. But we'll see.
So, do you think they're going to transfer him to Ada for the trial, like during the trial, like transfer him to a county jail down there? Or?
Well, yeah, they'd have to because he has to be in the courtroom.
But Twiz, did you just say that even if they transferred to Ada, you think that there would be riots if he was found not guilty in Moscow? Did I hear you correctly? You don't think it mattered in that regard?
If it's true what they're saying. I mean, they have to have everybody so convinced it's Brian, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why, if Brian didn't do it, why they'd be mad at Brian, I don't know. They should be mad at MPD.
Yeah, because, well, one of the things that she had stated, and Taylor, was that if he's found not guilty, then the police officers would start to be fired, and there would be like a small uprising, but only because that was to fire police officers. So who would get fired? Blaker, Rosendahl, Brett Payne.
Yeah, I mean, there should be a lot of them.
But yeah, I think after this case, I bet you freaking Bill Thompson retires. Either that or he'll retire before this case even starts.
He should be in prison too. That's crazy.
WSU Mom Kim just asked you a question, Twiz. Do you think he stands a chance before he gets out of Idaho on an appeal?
I think he gets out before. I don't think there's going to be a trial. I'll be surprised if there's a trial. They have way too much information on how they can get the arrest warrant thrown out. Everything after that'll be fruit of the poisonous tree. What are they going to say?
Yeah, very, very true.
You get rid of that buccal swab, you get rid of the sheath DNA.
Yeah,
Place them in the house.
Yeah, because I do believe there's some type of fruit of the poisonous tree going on in this case.
For sure. There's a lot of it.
WC Momkin says, you have more faith than I have, my friend.
Yeah. I can't say this enough. The cell data they used to arrest this kid is wild. I cannot believe they used the cell data to arrest this kid, and they lied. So that's on the PCA. That the arrest warrant can get tossed out tomorrow if Ann wanted it to. Like it's mind blowing what they used to arrest this kid.
Somebody's asking what Heather's channel is. I'm going to put the banner up real quick, and then I'll put one up for Twiz, and I'll put one up for Robert as well, so you guys know where to find my guests and AR.
Wolf Angel says, I cannot stand Chris McDonough.
Well,
yeah. I've got some choice words for him.
You probably have some choice words for Nancy Disgrace too.
Yeah, I'd have some words for her too.
But see, what I don't understand, if if they hold this trial in Moscow, and Moscow is so freaking tiny, where is everybody going to stay at? The expert, the defense witnesses, the prosecution witnesses.
Well, that's like the funny thing, because Bill Thompson was complaining about that before. Well, we need to have the trial in the summertime because we won't have hotels and stuff. But then you're going to cry when they try to move it to a bigger town or city, like.
But yeah, one of the Daybell jurors, she was talking about how they, it was either he or she was talking about how they really loved the fact that the trial was there in Boise, because it made it so much easier, because they had that underground garage where the jurors could go down to the below ground garage and get on the bus and leave out, and they didn't have to be bothered by press when they were leaving for the evening. And I mean, they're in Moscow. You're gonna have like I think it's gonna be a 3-ring circus outside. Nothing but press and more press and everything else, and it's really going to be hard for those jurors to leave without somebody from the press taking their picture and posting their picture.
No, everything about this is just wild. I
Yeah.
can't believe it's gotten this far. I can't believe it's still going on. I can't believe they arrested him at all.
I'm gonna feel sorry for the jurors because they're gonna have to walk out that courtroom at the end of the day, you know, or at the end when they recess and stuff like that. They're gonna have to walk out there in front of the media circus, and they're more than likely going to get their pictures taken or get videos of them. And then Ann Taylor goes, "Well, we really don't need to sequester the jurors. It's a waste of time to sequester the jurors."
I don't think so. I think they'll be fully protected, and I actually know people that will be sitting near them. So
Sitting near
Brian's parents.
Oh yeah. You'd have to stab me to get to them, I promise you that.
And Twiz is going to be there.
No,
So
I was talking about the jury. I wasn't talking about Brown's parents. I was talking about the jury. When the jury leaves at the end of the day, they're going to be walking through that 3-ring circus of media, getting videos of them taking pictures, and then picture can be posted. The video is going to be posted. I just think they need to move this thing to Ada. If anything, to protect the jury. From their identities getting out. Because I mean, you never know how many crazed Koberger fans we have out there, and would try to get a hold of the jury.
Yeah, I think that that's a huge advantage to Ada. In fact, I was a little bit concerned when I heard there was like no underground entrance because, I mean, it's just weird. Like you thought you would think that the courthouse of that size would have them. I thought they had underground holding cells, like to put the inmates. I don't know. It's just weird. You would think that that large of a courthouse would have the option, but they don't. So Ada, with this crazy media circus we're going to see, would be a better location by a mile.
For sure. The courthouse in Moscow is not that big. They have a bunch of stuff in that building. That's not the courthouse.
Interesting.
Yeah, wasn't it the Gonzaleses that said that walking into the courtroom feels like you're walking into the set of a sitcom or the set of a play because of how tiny it is?
I did hear that.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I wouldn't surprise me. It's not very big.
I mean, you can see it in the pictures and everything. And the other thing I wonder is like, are they gonna like adjust that format at all for trial, or are we gonna? I mean, because there's gonna be witnesses called up, and they're obviously gonna be sitting in a different location. Like, how are we gonna see this at trial? Are they gonna have multiple cameras? Are they not gonna show the witnesses when they talk? Are they gonna have 2 cameras that cut away? Because right now it's like a webcam on Zoom. But I've had concerns about that too, because they have this format of that little courthouse. It's not going to work because he wants one fixed camera. He doesn't want zooming in.
Well, he wants one on the crowd. They were trying to add another camera a couple of hearings ago for like the prosecution table, but they couldn't get it to work.
Oh, Rolo just dropped a video. I feel this pressure every time. He does drop videos a lot when I'm live, and I always am like, Rolo, the first thing is as long as it has no copyrighted material, I'll give it a try. The last time I was in Moscow, I was accompanied by 2 armed guards in a bulletproof car. Their weapons were outside their clothes in full view. Yeah, that was for the, was that for the Paramount, Kim? There were a couple comments I started to just.
The 29th is going to be wild, I think.
This media circus, you mean? That kind of wild?
Just everyone there, what they're going to say, like the PowerPoints, Bill Thompson's going to throw a hissy fit.
Doesn't he always throw a hissy fit? Or, I mean, let's hope and pray in this one he turns purple again.
I might just get kicked out for laughing.
You got kicked out for laughing, or are you joking?
No, I said I might get kicked out for laughing.
Embarrassed for you. You can control yourself, I think.
I'll try. We're going back to Rolo. But if he freaks out, like, I'll probably laugh, and I might tell him to suck it.
Rolo, there's no video.
He just said no.
He said he's finishing it up.
Why are you speaking in riddles? Or maybe I'm just not listening. Who knows?
WSU Mom Kim says Bethany can answer and exonerate Brian. Doesn't know how to lie, in my opinion. Well, I mean, do we really even know if Bethany even saw what was going on in the house that day? I mean, how do we know that that article I read wasn't true? That she was actually outside with the other college students.
Who knows? But Tonti says that she has exculpatory evidence. That could be anything, though. Who knows?
Yeah, and why were they taking pictures of her window? And they had the evidence tape on her inside of her window.
And then there was a seal. There wasn't evidence tape because I thought it was like for a fingerprint or something, but Heather said it was a seal.
Like, oh, what they were sealing her window or something?
Or like if they, my thought about it would be like if they put that on, they'd know if somebody opened it or not. I don't know. Or indicating that it was in the what position it was in when the crime happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to fight off yawning right now because I'm so tired.
Yeah, because I mean, they did the same thing with the spare room window. They put that little seal tape there, and they were taking pictures of the spare bedroom window.
Yeah, and Angie, this is a really comment. Angie, you sound so much like somebody else I know. The battle of the PowerPoints is heating up. Maybe Bill Thompson will whip out his own slide deck and turn it into a courtroom spectacle. Who knew the legal battles could come with such fancy presentations?
You know, every time I hear about the PowerPoints battle, you know what I think of? Yu-Gi-Oh!
A what? Wait, what?
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an anime where you have the stack of cards that has, and the cards are monsters, and when you battle, you pull a card out and call the monster's name. So, hey, let's get Ann Taylor and freaking Bill Thompson a couple of decks of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and have them battle it out that way.
I didn't even know that term. I wanted to, I think I said something that might have gotten misinterpreted, Heather. I was talking about the armed guards when Kim did her appearance on Paramount. They like paid for everything, and then when they had her escorted back to Moscow, they gave her guards. I might have been the one who misspoke. That's why I'm bringing it back.
No, it's just Heather going. It's just Heather going after Kim.
It's nice to have everybody's perspective. I'm glad to have everybody here. And as soon as I get to for Bill and PowerPoint, LOL. As soon as I get to the bottom of this, you guys, I think I might call it a night. Twiz, this is from DB Tabe. Do you have an opinion on who did this if BK didn't?
I really don't until we can see all the evidence.
I mean, but how do we know this wasn't a transient? I mean, how do we know this wasn't possibly a roving serial killer?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somebody that we just have no idea. Like, we've never heard their name. Kind of like Brian. No one knew his name before.
Because I'm starting to research serial killers in that area. Yeah, because we don't know if whoever did this couldn't have been a transient who was just passing through. Possibly a burgeoning serial killer.
Yeah, I mean, there are those organ stabbings or something.
Yeah.
Heather, I'm going to text you a message for Angel really quickly.
Bill Thompson card blowing his top. Yeah, we need to create a Yu-Gi-Oh card Twiz of Bill Thompson blowing his top.
Man, that's going to be fun on Thursday. He's going to throw a hissy fit.
Yeah,
I hope Edelman throws back his lines back at him. You can just go ahead and be as mad as you like.
Yeah, I'm going to be live streaming it Thursday.
I'll be with you. Oh, you know who else is joining us, Robert? Gia's going to be here.
Yay.
She's really like apprehensive because she just feels like, well, anyone who is from the outside looking in this case has so many moving parts and it gets so confusing when she jumps in and jumps out. But with the hearing, she's good right there to give some sort of legal analysis. I mean, it's a court hearing. Like, she definitely will have insight for us. I mean, she's probably not going to stay there for the whole day because she has 2 businesses, but she'll be in and out all day. So it'll be nice because we haven't had Gia on in quite a while.
Yeah, for the longest time, I thought she didn't like me.
And I'm going to miss her again.
I'll have her give you a shout out, Twiz.
But I mean, let's hope that Judge John Judge doesn't kill the stream before it's over, like he has been doing, like, repeatedly. Like, do you know how much of a buzzkill it is getting into the stream, and then like right before it's over, he cuts the stream.
I don't know. When has he done that?
And he's done it on his YouTube channel. He's done it the last like 2 times. Like it'll get to like right towards the end, and then he'll just cut the stream. Because I remember the last time I had Jeff in the chat, and Jeff goes, "Wait a minute, what happened? Where'd the stream go?" And all it said was stream unavailable. Uploader removed it. No, uploader killed the feed.
I don't know, but I think like when people, like especially me, I make a lot of streams private after I live stream. But if you like make it private while somebody has been like pausing it, like if somebody's pausing it and making commentary, or if you like pause it and go get a glass of water and come back and they cut the stream, you're not going to be able to see what you missed. Like you can't fast forward
Yeah.
it. It's just going to cut the stream. So I think a lot of times I pause the hearings to talk about them. And then if he cuts the stream, I never get to watch the very end. They have to catch it somewhere else. I think that's what maybe.
Hopefully we have a clean stream. I think Jules is gonna do it. Where like there's no commentary on it, so we can always watch it later and just hear the hearing.
Jules is gonna do that. That's great.
Well, I don't want to get a copyright strike from her if I stream what she's doing on my channel.
I don't think she would do that.
I don't think she could.
I think that's why. I think that's why she does it though, so that everyone can have a stream with like no commentary over it.
I don't know. I never get a lot of people to watch the hearings, but I do always keep them up, even if people don't watch them. They're not the most popular thing because when the hearing comes, people want to go to like the bigger channels, or they want to go to like Long Crime Network, or they want to go listen to Peter from Lawyer You Know, or someone like that. But it is nice to have them archived because we always go back to them so much.
Heather. Oh, that sounds like the Garbage Pail Kids deck I'm doing, Idaho 4 edition.
Wait, hold on. Where does he say it? Hold on.
Kiki, your voice is our choice from Star Square. Hey, what about me?
Oh, thank you. Yes, Angel D knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I love Angel D.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But so you guys, I even though it's 2:30 in the morning, I still have to wake up at 4:30. So I need to go.
What?
Get 2 hours of sleep. And
Why are you getting up so early?
I have things I have to do in the morning, Twiz. I'm a morning
At 4:30.
Well, that is a little excessive. I might be able to sleep until 5:30, but if
All
I
right,
don't,
get your 5:30 in.
So anyway, this was an impromptu live stream. So I just have to say, you guys made it great. It was so nice to have you both up here. Twiz, it's nice to have you on panel again. And for everyone watching, I have put their handles right here. I'll also add AR's and Heather's, and we talked about a few other creators. So when I go back and review this, I'll link all their channels below. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching.
You too.
And AR.
Of course.
Are we gonna see you this weekend? Or are you hiding?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet. I might be hiding. It depends on the weather.
When are you going to do another 12-hour live, Twiz?
Yeah, I want to do a 12.
I don't know. If there's something like super fun to talk about.
Well,
I love Jeff to death, but I could say we can do an entire life making fun of it. Yeah.
Well, Twiz, I usually plan out my live streams really well, and I have segments and everything like that. So I definitely want to have you back up on my panel sometime, and I'll have things planned out for us to talk about. But it was really nice. I think we found some really good subjects just kind of on the fly tonight. Oh, we'll put Rolo's panel in there too.
Yeah, I definitely don't plan anything.
What time is that hearing on the 29th?
It starts at 9 o'clock my time, so I think 11 yours.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be quiet and hear my little rugrat will be at school. Yay.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to get up at like 6 in the morning.
So how far? You're in Pullman, right?
Yeah.
So what? You're like what? 15 minutes away from the away from Moscow.
Yeah, it's like 20. 15 to 20.
So why do you got to get up at 6 for?
Well, it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of people there, so I've heard, especially like when this case started, like there was a waiting list to get in. So some people would get turned away.
Oh, wow.
That courtroom is not big.
How many people do you think it seats?
I don't know. I think if you had 6 people on those benches, that would be pretty cramped.
Oh, wow.
And there's like what, 4 or 5 rows, maybe 6 that you could sit on
Yeah.
both sides. Like you're not fitting a lot of people.
Well, I heard that, I heard possibly the Gonzaleses might be there.
That's what they said.
But I mean, they were stating that if it gets moved to Ada County, which Boise, basically, they don't know if they're going to be able to make it all the time, because Moscow is 2 hours away from them. Boise is almost 6 hours away from them.
Boise will be like 7.
A 7?
Because it's like 5 hours from here.
But do you think once the trial starts, Twiz, we'll actually see the Mogans, the Chapins, and the Kernodles, or do you think we'll just see the Gonzaleses?
I don't know. I doubt we'd see the Chapins, but you never know.
Yeah, because Swamp, I actually looked something up last night. It was to find a grave, and Ethan actually has a grave. And it's at Mount Vernon Cemetery in Mount Vernon, Washington. Because we keep hearing about how the Chapins had cremated him. Well, if they had cremated him, why would he have a grave? Unless it's an urn plot.
Yeah, I mean, I've buried ashes before. But now that I know where his grave is, that's really, it's surreal to know that information. And now I know the location. Places named Mount Vernon tend to be beautiful towns.
But now, as for Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee, they all three were cremated. So the Gonzaleses have Kaylee's and Maddie's ashes. Now, what makes me think, why do they have her ashes when the Laramies could have her ashes, or her dad could have her ashes? Why do the Gonzaleses have Maddie's ashes? And Jeff Kernodle has Xana's ashes. It just makes me wonder why the Gonzaleses have Maddie's ashes when her parents could have her ashes.
I don't know, like for some people that have passed away, like I have part of their ashes and the rest of their ashes are buried. So maybe they have like a necklace or a bracelet with Maddie's ashes in it, or maybe they have their own little urn with part of them. It's a really personal thing. I don't know how they would, decide that, but I think in the case of cremation, that's one of the reasons why people have it done. It's because
Well, according to Steve, he stated in an interview that Maddie was his daughter, so he has Maddie's ashes. Him and Christy has Maddie's ashes, and I'm thinking to myself, well, why can't Ben Mogan have some of the ashes? Or why can't the Laramies have some of the ashes? Why do you and Christy need to keep all of her ashes? Because if you think about it, everywhere the Gonzaleses went, like on vacation, Maddie went with them. And Maddie went with them to Matamoros, Mexico when she was a young adult. and the two best friends that were sisters. It just it's weird that that the Gonzaleses actually have her ashes. They could give them to Ben. They could give them to her mom. So why keep her ashes if because the Laramies and the Gonzaleses don't speak. The Mogans and the Gonzaleses don't speak. So why are you holding on to their child's ashes?
I'm not even going to speak on this, Robert. It's just way too personal, and it is for me to even consider why the parents. I have no comment.
Well, I know, Kiki, and I don't expect you to speak on it. It's just something that's been eating at me.
Yeah, it's an intense thing to think about.
I mean, it's something that's been eating on me. I just had to get it off my chest.
Yeah. And I mean, not a lot of people opt for cremation. If you, depending on your religious persuasion, maybe you've never dealt with cremation and these are lingering questions. So I totally get that.
All right. Well, we better let you get your beauty rest.
It's been such a pleasure having
Which means you better go till 5:30. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'll be okay. I can take a little Twiz zinger. Anyway, everybody have a great night, and we'll see you some point this weekend.
This week.